Hey guys, I am just honored to be able to introduce you to a phenomenal lady. Probably the best travel agent I've ever been introduced to, has opened my eyes to the potential in travel, and she's just phenomenal. I am so happy to be connected with her and that she's offering such a valuable service to all of us by benefiting us with her amazing experience and training. And tonight she is going to be covering the exciting area of group cruising. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thanks, Faraday. I appreciate it. Let me just get to it. I'm going to do this in 2 different sessions this time, guys. It's kind of gotten drug out to like an hour and a half, and this is probably a good 2-hour training. So we'll do part of it tonight and part of Wednesday. So if you miss it tonight, that gives you tomorrow to watch it. And you may not understand some of what we're talking about. I'm not sure yet if you don't watch this. So yes, I want you to come on Wednesday, but watch this first so that you can make sure that you can follow us along. Let me do a screen share here real quick with you. Okay, that should do it. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. I was thinking about what to call this because I was just going to do group cruises, and I was thinking about, everybody talks about how lucrative they can be, and there's a lot of good, tons of good with group cruises, any groups, not just cruises, but there's some bad that comes with it, and there's definitely a lot of money to be made. So I decided I was going to call this one the good, the bad, and the money, because if you can get past the bad stuff, what few things you might deal with, and overcome them, then it's definitely nice to see the commission check at the end of this. So let's just get in it and see if you guys have any questions. If you do, there'll be Q&A at the end, and you can just type your questions as we go along, and then I'll just go through and answer all of them. Okay, let's do this. Today's part 1. Again, we're going to do part 2 on Wednesday, so make sure that you want to be here for that. Today we're going to do different types of groups. Some of this you've probably already heard. I'm just going to hit it real quick and give you maybe a few tips on my experiences with them. What makes a group, so that there's no confusion as to how many cabins we need and all that good stuff. Utilizing existing groups. This one's the part that there's a lot of little things that you need to know. I know we hit on this last week, but I'm going to go into a little more detail on it. Cruise line specific options. Every cruise line's different, and by no means can I cover every single difference with them, but I'm going to hit the highlights, and you can always go, obviously, and find it in their websites and their trainings. Where can we find groups? You might be surprised. Easy marketing for groups that you can start doing as soon as we get off of this webinar. Please, 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 guys. I'm going to show you how easy this is. There's no reason not to have a group by Wednesday. Everybody should have one. And I may not get to support tonight. I think I'm going to wait and do that next week, but I may hit on some of that, or next week, excuse me, Wednesday. But I want you guys to know about support and who to call, when to call them, and where you can find that information. Okay, now to part 2. This is where we're going to get down to the real nitty-gritty is Wednesday. But we're going to talk about where you're going to find dates for your cruises, for your groups, and pricing. About actually creating a group in your agent portals. We're going to go over that. Amenity points. I'm going to show you what each cruise line's offering with amenity points, and I'll touch on it tonight. You'll hear about amenity points, but I'm going to go in depth. Those are important. That's one of your huge group benefits. That's why we do it. Contracts and dates. There's nothing more important, guys. If you're going to do a group, please, please, please listen to me when it comes to contracts and dates. It's so important. Agent responsibilities. There are a lot of things you could have to pay for if you don't follow that contract, follow your dates, know what you've gotten yourself into. Managing groups, from organization all the way to dealing with some of the bad that I spoke of. We always have one of those in a group that may be a little difficult to deal with, but we're used to that. It's no different than any other kind of travel that we do. Providing VIP service from the first phone call all the way to the follow-up. We'll talk about that. And obviously, not everybody is driving to port. Not everybody lives in Florida. We're pretty blessed here, but air, hotel transfers, insurance, and excursions. I'm going to go over all of that because there's a lot of money to be made in groups that are just in conjunction with your group cruise. So that is on Wednesday. So with groups, if you can dream it, literally, you can create a group around it. If you have a hobby, you can create a group around it. Different types of groups, affinity groups. Obviously, those are any group that has like a common interest or goal. Your church groups, your yoga groups, your meetup groups, your fitness groups, Harley riders. I know we talked about the agent that made $250,000 last year on a Harley cruise. That's just exponentially grown over the years. It's nothing but Harley riders. These are just some examples. I mean, we could go on for days. If they have a common interest or goal, then they are an affinity group. And you'll see that pretty much with all three cruise lines. You'll see affinity groups. Reunions, obviously, family reunions, high school, military, college reunions, alumni reunions, you name it. If they're getting together to see each other because they haven't seen each other in a while, just to bring everybody together, then that's obviously a reunion. Friends and family. If you're a travel agent, even if you're new, if you haven't already thought about doing a friends and family group, I'd be shocked. Most of us, it's the first thing that we do is we try to figure out how we're going to get 8 people to go on a cruise with us. So that's a pretty logical one. Weddings, that's considered a group. If they've got 8 cabins, it's a group. Professional organizations, business leaders groups, women's professional organizations, any of those. Humanitarian and culture, that Famous that I spoke about last week that Carnival owns, they're going to Dominican and Cuba. They're doing the humanitarian works over in Dominican, and they're doing more of a cultural experience in Cuba. So it's very interesting. I really started digging into it and looking at it a little bit, and I really like what I see. I'm telling you guys, you need to go and check out the Famous cruises. They've actually got a special right now for travel agents that I just got in my email. I think it was yesterday. So they do for the Dominican. You can go over there. You can help teach impoverished children English. Everything from, they have agricultural things that you can do, building water filters. I mean, there's a whole list, and you can choose what you want to do. Basically, the ship is ends up being basically your hotel and water. So you still get all the food that you normally would get and all those things, but you're actually going over there for a purpose, and it's for a full week. The Cuba cruise is unbelievable. Please go look at it. I bet you could come up with so many people if you would, that you could put on one of these cruises as a group. Sports clubs, football fans, golf clubs, bowling leagues, all of those incentive groups, obviously for business. Community and nonprofit organizations. You've got VFW, your volunteer groups, YMCA, nonprofits, also your churches and your schools. And then you've got your fundraiser groups, which again includes churches, schools, and nonprofits. Promotional, in other words, an open agency group is what I consider a promotional group. Like I just mentioned last week, I put a bunch of Carnival groups together, just grabbed a bunch of group space for the agency. For any agents that want to use it, you're more than welcome to. I'll go over that. So you'll have those just kind of open groups. This agent might put in 1 or 2. This one might put in 3 or 4 in the group. They don't have to, they're not responsible for being together, knowing each other, even know each other's on the ship. They just get the amenities and they get all the benefits of being placed into a group. So you have to just think outside the box. I mean, if you can think it, I'm telling you, I mean, if you've got a crochet group that can get 8 cabins with their spouses, then do it. Just think outside the box. The meetups is probably the newest thing for thinking outside the box. I had 17 people at my first travel meetup, guys, this past weekend. 17, 20 confirmed, 17 of them showed up. That's 17 strangers that I would have never known. Definitely think outside the box. I could probably easily get, just with the groups from that meetup, I could probably get, I would say 4 or 5, depending on what we do, but 4 or 5 groups a year. I know I can get 2 cruises out of them, on top of European tours and all of that. What comprises a group? Well, in general, you can't hold me to this. In general, it's 8 cabins or more. 8 cabins being double occupancy. NCL, Norwegian, currently requires 14 passengers and 7 cabins for their affinity groups. It's a new promotion they've got. I don't know. It looks like it's going to stick around for a while. But if you've got 7 cabins, it's an affinity group, and then you get also there's a bunch of amenities I'll talk about here in a little bit that go along with this promotion. But you basically get either 1 or 2 people get to cruise for free, depending on what you choose for your group. When in doubt, check. Every cruise line is a little different. But if you are like, oh, is that the one that has 7, or are they all 8? Go check, because again, Norwegian's affinity group is different from their regular group. So definitely just go, and you can call them and ask them. They have great groups departments. Most of them have travel agent group departments that, speak with travel agents, and you can just go and check. Also in their trainings, in their search box, type in group, see what comes up. I mean, there's multiple ways. Just know where to go, and never, if you're second guessing for 30 seconds, know your rules, know what you've got to have. Typically up to 50 cabins can be reserved online. But of course, that's based on availability. You may go in and it'll only say that you can have 16 for this cruise. That's because the group space has been taken up. So typically they'll let you do up to 50, and then you have to call them if you need anything larger than that. Over 50 cabins, you call the travel agent groups department, basically with all 3 of the major cruise lines. Again, Disney's a different, totally different thing. We're going to do Disney separate when we do Disney training. Additional benefits. There are a lot of times additional benefits for 50 or more cabins. They'll give you more amenity. There's different things, more amenity points that you can give them, extra onboard credits, depending on what you want to do with those points. But the big thing is, with all 3 of the cruise lines, if they have 50 or more, they'll do their shore excursions private. So that's one instance where I would look into purchasing or working out shore tours through the cruise line. And watch for group specials. I just told you last week about the one Carnival had. They typically have it once a year. I'm hoping they're having it twice a year, or twice this year, because it's so early. But they've, like right now, that one that they had last week when I grabbed up a bunch of group space, they have certain sailings that I grabbed that I needed 5, only really needed, if I had 8 cabins, I got 2 people free. So really 4 cabins gave me 1 person free. I got 8 people, I get 1 free. 1 person sells free. They also often have 5 cabin specials. I've seen them run it, where you only need 5 cabins to be considered a group. That's a huge deal. If you can, a big deal. They run no initial deposit, which was also in this one, but I'll talk a little more about deposits here in just a little bit. They have the free berth, like I just said, for 8 passengers, or a free cabin if you get 16. That was in this promotion, plus additional amenities. Just like I said with Norwegian, Royal Caribbean does it. Did I just say Royal Caribbean? I can't speak tonight. They'll give additional amenities with some of their group specials. And when they have those, guys, you want to go get what you need, because it will get taken up. There's agencies all over the place that are grabbing group space when they have those. If you don't have enough for a group, let's talk about utilizing an existing agency group. Not every agency is going to do this. I can't speak for any. I'm talking about what I've got right now, what I've seen other host agencies do. And, again, what I've already reserved for us. Check to see, I do not care what you're going to book. You need to always check to see if the agency has an existing group. If they have an existing group space, you're doing your client an injustice 90% of the time if you don't try to get them into that group. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. It totally depends on what type of group it is. If it's closed, if it's not, there's a lot of things we have to look at, but don't ever forget to go look. I have been guilty of that myself. I've actually thought, oh, well, we probably don't have any group space, or, just completely forgot to do it because I was in a hurry, and could kick myself a couple of times because they could have got a $100 onboard credit and a cheaper rate. So agent portals is where you're going to want to go. It'll show your existing groups for each sailing. It's on Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and on Carnival. Carnival just basically says yes. Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, I believe they use rate codes for theirs, but they will pull up the sailings for you. You need to call the cruise line, and you can call and check for available groups. A lot of times you can't tell what's open, what's not, really what's available in it. I'll show you exactly how to do that, but Carnival for me is much easier to see those things. Typically you have to call Norwegian and Royal Caribbean to find out the information you need on that group. You can see maybe that there is one, but how much information you can see on it is not as much as Carnival. Check agency group list if it's available. If your agency, a lot of them will put out a list. They'll have like an Excel spreadsheet of everything that they've got booked. Now understand that even if that list is there and you're going a couple months before the cruise and you're looking and you're like, well, I don't see this group anywhere. If nobody booked into that group, then the cruise line's going to take those cabins back. So yes, it could be that it doesn't exist anymore. Existing fit booking. For those that don't know what a fit is, it's just an independent traveler. So if you're going to do a single booking, or less than 8, let me say that, less than 8. But if you're going to go and do 3 or 4 cabins, 1 cabin, whatever, that doesn't comprise a group, then some of the cruise lines, meaning Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, they will allow you to move a individual, and when I say individual, that can be up to 7 cabins because 8's a group. So they'll allow you to move those individual bookings that you did into a group. It doesn't have to be, it could be that I came behind you 2 months later and created a group. Check, watch I always put it out to everybody, when I've got groups, and I think I suggest everybody do that. Just go into your Facebook page or whatever your agency uses and say, hey guys, I've got a group on Royal Caribbean in June. Well, I could go, you know what? I've got people sailing on that ship. So I go back, I call Royal Caribbean, and they move my existing booking into your group, even though you created that group later. And they get the amenities that you set up. So if it's a $50, $100 onboard credit, cocktail party, whatever you have decided for your group, my client will get that. And on top of that, you get the actual number of towards your cabins. So say you've got 7 and I move 1 in there, I just made your 8th cabin. And I've also just got you a free cruise for somebody. So it benefits everybody. It benefits your client. Of course, your commission's the same. I'll go over that in a minute. Now, that is for Royal Caribbean and Norwegian. You can move fits into groups, either prior to the group being actually developed or even after, but you have to call them. Make sure that you don't confuse that with Carnival. Carnival will allow you to move a new fit into a group. You cannot have an existing cabin that and I go behind you and create a group on the same ship. You cannot move that, not with Carnival. They won't let you do it. But if you come behind me and you see that I've got a group, then you can put them in there. Absolutely, you can birth them in there. But that's the difference in the two, is that you cannot do it afterwards. Once you do a booking with Carnival, you cannot move it into a group. And like I just said, it's a win-win for everybody. You get the commission just like you normally would, and your client gets the group amenities, the pricing, at times the pricing. If as long as the group is open, we can usually get the pricing. The group booking agent gets credit towards the cabin and passenger numbers in the group. With open, actual promotional, like what I did, where I just, so yes, I have groups where I created the group for a reason, but I have a lot of them that I've gathered up so that we can all use them and get those rates. With those, here's my take on it. This is for me and for any agents in our company. For me, if you want to book into my group, I am absolutely fine with that. If you put 8 cabins into any group, I just ask that you tell me. But if you put 8 cabins into any group, you, as far as I'm concerned, you earned it and you get the freebie. If you do not put 8 cabins and somebody puts 2, somebody puts 1, somebody puts 2 or 3, whatever, then when it gets to 8, then I'm responsible for that group and I created that group. So therefore that cabin will, or sailing would go to me. But if you do 8, then you earned it and it's yours. That's just how I feel about it. Some agency, I've seen them, they take all of the freebies and I don't know what they do with them. Who knows? They get money for them. Who knows? Existing group space, must do's and don'ts. These are important on existing group space. Please always check for the groups. As I said, know the limits placed per agency. Most of these cruise lines allow 2 groups per sailing. That's it. Call to verify the groups. Just like I said earlier, Royal Caribbean and Norwegian especially, you can't really go in there and dig as much on theirs. You just need to call them and you need to verify, yes, it exists. Yes, there's space available, or yes, they'll let you move somebody into it. You need to call them. Make sure that that a group is active and it's not finalized. If a group is active, that means the final payment has not came up. Or it means that the initial deposit has not came up. And if there's nobody in there when that initial deposit comes up, then they'll just take the space back. It'll be gone. You'll never see it again. But if it's active, if it's finalized, which means the final payments and all of that they've got all then you need to make sure that it's active so that you can book into it. All 3 cruise lines are different on that too, when they'll let you book in and how far into it. I've had really good luck sometimes just calling. If it won't let me do it online, sometimes you can talk them into a lot of things. Contact the group booking agent, please. I don't care if I reserved 50 cabins and I don't have 1 cabin in that group booked. You need to make sure that I get an email or a message or something saying, hey, Tammy, I want to book into this group. All I want to know is I want to be able to keep track of it. I want to know that somebody booked into it, because I have responsibilities that I need to release cabins, so that I don't, I have to start watching dates closer. There's a lot of things I have to do as the booking agent. So, and I also need to know if I need to up cabins, or if I need to, if I need to do more balconies. A lot of them will let me change those things. So just let me know. That's all I'm asking. If I've got, the reserved space, say I've got so many interior, I've got so many balconies. If you would just make sure that you're not taking my last balcony and I've already promised it to somebody. So there's another reason you always want to ask the booking agent. And it's not just for me. If I go and I see that somebody has a group and it's a reunion, I'll call them and say, hey, have you gotten rid of all your cabins? Could you care if I book into this? Can I grab one of those cabins? Or my other option is just book into the group. Just use an existing rate, book it in. It'll be part of the group, and what they'll get is the amenities. It won't take up any of the space. They'll just get the amenities that are set, no matter what those are. So some agents will let you, some won't. But if they've got extra cabins, which I tell everybody to grab extra cabins, you never know what's going to happen. And you also want to do it for your agents. Do it for your agents. Always grab some extra cabins. Then if somebody wants to grab a few from you, they can, and it does nothing but help you on your numbers. And verify or arrange for special considerations for multiple cabins, just like I said. Somebody books 8 into one of the groups that I've got together, then it's yours. I mean, if we get whatever freebie comes with that is yours. You earned it. For me, you get it. Not every agency's like that. Not every agent's like that. That's just how like I said, how I feel about it. Collect full deposits when you are birthing into a group. You need to make sure that you collect full deposits from your clients. Yes, with Carnival, for instance, they allow typically with this particular promotion that they just had, there was no initial deposit. Their initial deposit is typically $25 per person. Do I ever collect $25 from anybody? Absolutely not. They get it's a minimum of $50 to $100 per person, no matter what kind of group it is. I don't care if it's in my own family. They're going to pay $50 to $100. That is going to reserve them a space. If they tell me they want a balcony, then that's what I'm going to put a little check mark. Okay, I've got a balcony sold. That is not going to get them a room number, a stateroom. It is only going to hold them a space on there until they pay the final deposit or the remainder of the deposit. If the deposit's $200, they gave me $50. They owe another $150 by whatever date the cruise line says. So it will, once they pay that and they pay the remainder of their full deposits for the entire cabin, then I can pick them a cabin, get them a cabin number, and we proceed from there. And then they've just got to make payments towards their final payment. But please, if you are going into an existing group, unless you talk to the agent and you make other arrangements, or, the cruise line, and some cruise lines won't let you. I mean, it depends on what kind of group it is. But if it's an active group, if it's a new group, if it's one of the groups that I just did, by all means, collect the full deposit. If you have several cabins and somebody's needing a little bit of time, just let me know that, because I don't want to think that there's, full deposits that have went down. But I'm going to tell you that just for argument's sake, 99% of the time we're going to collect the full deposit when we're birthing into a group. Again, there are some considerations. If you've got somebody that, hey, wants to reserve their spot with $50 or $100, and that's an active group, and the full deposit's not due yet, contact me. We'll work it out. But again, most agencies require full deposits for those that happen on here, not from my company somehow. Verify the amenities that are offered. You want to see, does it have Tammy always does a $75 or $100 deposit. Well, maybe I didn't on this one. You want to verify what the amenities are offered so that you can tell your client the good news. When you get them in that group, you can tell them the good news. Verify the rate code permits group amenities. If you go and already have like an individual booked and you see that I put a group in there and you want to move them into my group on Norwegian or Royal Caribbean, you want to call and make sure that whatever you've got your client booked under will allow for those amenities. Some rate codes do and some do not. You don't want them to find out that you moved them into a group, they can't even get those amenities, and their price may have went up. There's a lot of fine print when it comes to rate codes. Most of the time they do allow. I can tell you on Carnival, most of them do. Not everyone, but most. But you definitely, gosh, please don't move somebody into a group or birth somebody into a group. If you're going in, you go, oh, okay, there's a group, and you go and you birth them into the group under one rate code. Again, I'm going to show you this. You want to make sure that code, and it will say supports group amenities. I'm going to do a whole thing on exactly how to birth into a group, an existing group. Please don't deny your clients group benefits. Don't forget to look. It doesn't hurt you one bit to birth into a group if you can get into one. It only helps your client. You don't lose a dime commission. Nothing happens. It's just, it only helps your client. And they'll love you for it, and they will come back time and time again because, hey, she can pull strings that nobody else can pull. You know, I got an extra $50 or $100 that the cruise line wouldn't give me. I'm telling you, it's the easiest way in the world to impress your client. Please don't ever modify an existing group. On Carnival, for instance, you can go on and you technically could change my amenity points. You could go in and change how many cabins I've got. You could change how many, say, ocean view cabins I've got as opposed to balcony. Please don't do that. If there is some reason that you think that something needs to be modified, either contact your agency. Some agency have group leaders, they have all this, but either contact your agency, but please contact the agent that has that book. And a lot of times it's just they've got a lot of extra cabins and they'll move some stuff around for you. But please don't modify anything. You treat that as if you can't touch it. I'm begging you. That can really mess. You have no idea what that agent's got on the side going. Use reserve space without verifying with the booking agent. Again, don't take up somebody's cabin. Any cabins, if you haven't talked to them, just make sure that they're going to have extra. They may have reserved exactly enough, and they just haven't got everything in there, and you can't tell what they need. You can't just tell by looking at it. So don't use one of their spaces if it's an active open group that is prior to deposit. Don't use one of their cabins. Carnival's very weird as opposed to the way that Royal Caribbean and Norwegian do it. So it just happens to be that our groups that I've got saved right now happen to be on Carnival, but the way that they allow you to do that is a little different. So please don't just always talk to the agent. Forget to email yourself and the booking agent all the confirmations from Carnival. You can call Royal Caribbean if you do a group and you set up a group. You can call Royal Caribbean, you can call Norwegian, make sure that your personal email is on there for any contacts. That doesn't only help your agency, but it also helps other agents that are wanting to book maybe into your group. With Carnival, unfortunately, I'm hoping that they change this. Good Lord, it's been problems. Everything goes to your agency. Your contracts go to your agency. Your confirmations go to your agency. You have to go and hit confirmation and send it to yourself. And then please forward it also to the booking agent. If you forget to do that, it can be disastrous. You can forget a lot of things if you forget to do that. And it's, kind of a pain to go in there and find those things once you forgot to send it to you. You can find them, but I'm telling you, a lot of things have caused problems with people having to pay for things they shouldn't because they miss things. So please email yourself and the booking agent confirmations anytime a payment is made, anytime you actually birth somebody into their group, anytime, you need to go and send them that information as well as yourself. So just CC everybody. Okay, cruise line specifics. Carnival. This is just some things, guys. This is not, I could go, really, you're probably going to do their training anyway, and a lot of things can be found just within their individual trainings. But this is a few things that come to mind. 2 groups per agency per sailing. So you might go in there and somebody's got, you could have a huge group that wants to go on the Carnival Sunshine and, next year, and there's 2 groups already on that sailing. If that happens, I can tell you that I've never had any luck with Carnival allowing an extra one. They've been very strict about it. So if that happens, the best thing to do is contact your agency or maybe go and talk to the agents that have them booked. It may be your agency that has taken up space, so that makes things a little easier. But there's nothing worse than having somebody that knows for sure what specific sailing they need and you can't get into it. So just know that 2 groups per agency. Also that if you take up group space and the minute that you find out you don't need it, it's wise to go and release it. If you're holding it for family reunion and it falls through or whatever, just go and release it so somebody else can grab it. Not every sailing is going to have just an open promotion by any means. So just be leery about what you're booking into or what you're holding. 8 cabins, 16 passengers is usually 1 free berth, not 1 cabin, 1 person. Double that for 2 people, obviously a whole cabin. Special group promos, like I just talked about, they have lots of them. The one that I was just speaking of, right now that's cut in half. So it's really 4 cabins and 8 passengers, and you get a free one. So we would get 2. No deposit, no initial $25 deposit. That was waived. There's just a lot of things on that promotion that were really good. You can book into existing groups. You cannot move an existing fit into a group. You can't book somebody and then say, oh, I didn't see that group, or 6 months later there's a group that comes up you want to know. The Carnival won't let you do it. Cruising for charity is what they call their fundraising. It's a really great, I love their cruising for charity. What they do is, for instance, they'll do up to $10 per person per day of sailing. So if you've got 5-day cruise, they will allow $50 per person, not per cabin, $50 per person. So what you do is you up your cabin by $10 and they match it. And they'll match up to $10 per person per day. So a cabin would be an extra $20, for instance. But per person, you'll up at $10. You can do more than that. You can up at $75 if you want to. Now they won't match $75, but they will. They will give you a nice little chunk of change back for your churches, for your schools, for anything that for a nonprofit. As long as it's nonprofit, they will do it. The Falmouth that we talked about, the humanitarian Cuba, they're the first cruise to be allowed and approved by the U.S. and Cuba to dock there. So go look at it. First cruise line to go to Cuba. It's a small, one of their older ships. They brought it down from the UK, but I'm telling you guys, this right here could be very lucrative for some people. They have what they call fun points. That's their amenity points. They're usually about $6 a piece. So it automatically typically gives you 4 in the rate. You can decrease that to 0. It'll decrease your rate a little bit. It'll decrease it by $24, or you can increase it. So if you want to make sure to give them a $100 credit, you need to go and look at how many points that takes, increase your fun points, and it will get you to that $100. And I'm going to tell you what, for 1 point being $6, you can get one $25 credit for that. Well, I'll pay $6 to get 25 any day of the week. You can also, there's all kinds of things. I mean, there's a whole list of things, from cocktail parties to robes to beach bags and wine. And I mean, you get to decide what you want for your group. Talk to your group leader, see what they want. The Fun Ship group account, and it sure is fun. Let me tell you. Very different. The $25 that I was talking about that we're never going to collect, we're always going to collect 50 or 100 because it does a couple things. That money, if they put that money down, that is obviously not a full deposit. So it goes into this little account for the group. So everybody's $50, $100 deposits go into this account. When somebody comes to you and says, I want to finish paying my deposit off, you take that money and you apply what's in the account that they've already put there. So if they put $100, because there's 2 of them, 50 per person, you'll pull 100 out. You'll take the rest of the money that they're giving you for your for their final deposit, and you will put that towards their room, because at that point you can go and get them a cabin. So it is not as hard as it sounds. It's a little interesting, but it's definitely not as hard as it sounds. And I can go through showing you guys that. That's something we can talk about a little bit more in depth tomorrow. I definitely want to talk about the reasons that we don't collect 50 or $25 deposits. There's a couple reasons for that. Royal Caribbean, they allow 2 promotional and 2 affinity per agency. I thought that changed to 1 and 1, but I couldn't find where it did. I guess it's 2 and 2 still. So 2 promotional and 2 affinity per agency per sailing. 8 and 16 again for 1 berth. They also have special promotions. make sure you watch for them. I'm telling you, they sneak these things into your email, guys, and you will not see them. And that's the best time when they've got no deposits. They also have, when you go into book one with Royal Caribbean, they give you the option of a deposit or a no deposit. It affects a little bit of everything. It affects, I noticed it affects pricing. There's some options there with Royal Caribbean. You can move an existing, say, an existing booking into a group, even if the booking is done later, or the group is done later, excuse me, you can move it. You have to call them for that. Like I said, they are the one cruise line that has cruise certificates for fundraising. So say you don't have enough, or they're not interested really in doing a cruise. I love this. You always see these things where people fill it out, you know, it's like, oh, they're raffling off at the football games or whatever, a free cruise. Well, this is a cruise certificate, and you can go and they can purchase a cruise certificate. They can raffle it off. They can do whatever they want to. And it's really, really, it's a great program. Go and look up cruise certificates for fundraising with Royal Caribbean, because I'm telling you, even if you can't talk them into a cruise, a lot of these schools and stuff, you can talk them into these. And it's a great, great fundraiser. They can make all kinds of money off of it. They call their they're not fun points with them, they're GAP, they're group amenity points. And it'll tell you some sailings, they'll give them to you, some they won't, most of them they do. It'll tell you exactly how many those are. You call them, or there's actually a form in Royal Caribbean where you can request what it is you want. So you just go in there and you tell them what you want for your points. There's a whole list of them that tells you, you know, for 1 point you get this, for 2 you get this. And so you can also buy up. You can buy up on any of them and get additional GAP points. Full deposit is due with them 30 days from reserving group space. So they'll let you reserve group space for 30 days as long as it's 90 days or more before the sailing. It is less than 30 days if you're 90 days or less out. So they're not doing the $25 thing that Carnival does. Norwegian has the new affinity groups that are 7 cabins, 14 passengers, and you can get either 1 or 2 free berths. It depends on what you pick. If you go for 2 free berths, that's the amenity. That's basically what you get for your group. You get a free cabin for every 7. If you go for 1, there's these. I love this. I'm telling you guys, this is insane. You get to choose. You can get the ultimate beverage package that is also, you know, it's alcohol and everything. You can get ultimate dining. There's a whole list of them. You get 1 of some of them, like the ultimate dining, the beverage package. If you pick that, then you only get that one thing. You still get the 1 free berth for 7 cabins, but you only get the 1 ultimate beverage package. Then there's a list on the other side that's like the dining, shore tours. I think one of them might be an additional onboard credit, and you get to pick 2 of those. So it just depends on what kind of group. You know, if you've got a church group, you're probably going to pick, you know, ultimate dining and shore tours, or you're going to pick. But it also, please read the fine print. Most of these amenities are for first and second passenger in the cabin only. You can't put 4 people in a cabin and them get the ultimate beverage package as well. So it can be a game changer for people that are trying to really, you know, they think they're going to go on this cheap cruise, and then they find out 2 of the roommates have got to pay for that. So please read the fine print before you go making promises to any group. It's a $50 deposit, and it's due 60 days from reserving the group. It can be less. And you need to call and confirm on the fit bookings. If you're wanting to move somebody in, I've heard some agents say they had problems moving them into it, but you really need to call and let them walk you through it, actually put that into a group for you if you want to move it. So call Norwegian. They're usually pretty good to work with. Actually, all 3 of them are, but Norwegian, you know, is very good to work with. And they'll just make sure that whatever you're moving, if you've booked that client, you don't want to move them and their rate go up. You don't want to move them and them lose amenities instead of gaining. You might have booked them under a great promotion that actually is better than what this group that came up has got. So don't just move for the sake of moving. Move them because it benefits your client. You don't want a mad client. Okay, where can we find them? you guys have probably heard this. I think it's pretty common sense in a lot of ways, but for those who've never done groups, you may not know. Family and friends, like I said, that's usually the first thing we do as agents. Hey, how many people want to go to groups? But family and friends, get them together. Find a reason. You can always find a reason to go on a cruise. Churches, community organizations. I've mentioned most of these. The travel meetups, like I said, I had 17 the other day. Social media, Facebook, Instagram. You would be surprised when you start throwing out some group specials or talking about, hey, who out there wants, I've got this great group, who wants it, who wants to go. You might be just shocked at what you get. Schools, colleges, obviously go to them. You can do fundraisers for them. You can do alumni associations, spring break, obviously, end of the year trips, senior trips, fitness centers, yoga studios, dance schools, sport teams. Let me tell you something. Fitness centers, guys, and yoga studios, and even large dance schools, okay, or the competition cheerleading groups. Those things are huge now. They've got gyms that have got 1,000 kids in them. Go to the owner. Don't go to somebody who can't make a decision. I don't waste my breath there. You find out who owns that. Whoever owns that studio is who you want to talk to. You don't want to talk to a manager that can't have a final say on something. You want to talk to whoever owns one of those studios or the fitness center. You go to them and you make them a king. Here's how you do it. You go and you just tell them, make sure you got all your ducks in a row, and you just go and you just tell them, hey, what would you think about us doing a group cruise for your members, for your clients? And they're going to think immediately money. And then you're going to tell them that it's not only not going to cost them a penny, but you're going to take care of absolutely everything. And if you get 8 or more cabins, you're going to get them on there free. They can do whatever they want to with that free cabin. They can raffle it to their members. They can do a drawing for it, or they can go for free. They can also take it and they can split it amongst the members to decrease their payments. So whatever you do, make sure that you get a hold of somebody that can actually make a decision for you. Don't go and talk to the manager till you're blue in the face and he says, well, I've got to check with somebody, because you don't want that passed on. I guarantee you he'll never present it the way that you do. So you need to tell them, when they start with objections, what are they going to object to here? A free cruise? Are they going to object to their members thinking that they're a rock star and that they're the ones that's doing all this? You tell them, all I need you to do is put up a flyer for me, set some flyers and some business cards out so that if people want information, they can get it, and give me one day, and you pick when they're the busiest. If that's 5 o'clock on Tuesday, then at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, you set up a little table and you have all of your information regarding the cruise that you've chose for them. A flyer, it needs to have everything on it, guys. It needs to have everything from start to finish. How much their deposit is, when it's due, it needs dates, everything. You also want to have, of course, your credit card authorization forms and all of those things, because you've got a lot of people that'll hand over $50 or $100, whatever you're collecting, to get on board with this. So you tell them, it's going to sell out fast. You have to create urgency, get your spot now or you might lose it. You don't ever tell them, no, I could probably get a few more cabins, or I've only got 2 people right now. No, this is selling out fast, guys. And you get 8, then your business owner's just happy as they can be. So you can do this for anybody this way, but I'm telling you, the yoga studios, fitness centers, we're doing a yoga cruise next year. One of the agents and I, anything you can think of, just think outside the box, make them a hero with their own patrons. So, and they have to do absolutely nothing. Businesses, again, incentive travel and promotions. A lot of businesses want to do promotions. The cruise certificates are good for those too. Radio stations, same deal. We just had a radio station down here not too long ago that gave away a cruise, and so do car lots. Homeschool groups, that's a biggie lately. There have been a lot of homeschool big cruises, and I mean, they just keep growing. Like this homeschool group tells this homeschool group, and next thing you know, you've got 4 or 5 different homeschool groups every year. They do that with Disney as well, but definitely with cruises. I mean, these groups are everywhere. If you can dream it, you can figure it out. But just think outside the box. I mean, who's going to tell you no? You're doing all the work. Worst thing that's going to happen to them is they're going to get a free cruise or some money to put towards everybody else's cruise, I should say. Go find your first group today, guys. Um, as I was saying, go straight when we get done here and go put on social media. Who is ready for a group cruise? I've got the best rates. I can get you so many things that, we'll do onboard credits. I don't care what kind of group it is. You tell me. Or I just need 8. I don't care if y'all know each other. But there's all kinds of stuff you can put on social media and it will work. Go talk to your pastor. Go talk to your elders at that church. I'm telling you, they will do it. If they don't have to do anything, and especially if you can show them how much money you can raise for that church through one of the charity or even the cruise certificate even. But there's also a lot of theme cruises. One of the agents obviously is, she was telling me the other day, she's doing, or was going to do, excuse me, I think she's doing it next year, there's a gospel cruise. And so go talk to your pastor. There's cruises that go through the Holy Land. That's definitely right up their alley, obviously. There's just a lot of, and any of those can also be in conjunction with raising money for the church. On the other 2 lines, basically, you just up it. If you up it $25, anything above what they would pay for the cruise, Norwegian or Royal Caribbean will give back to you, and you give it to the church or the nonprofit. Plan, again, a family and friends cruise. Go talk to the fitness center owners, just like I said. Go out there and go to one of these businesses and do that. And start a travel meetup. Guys, that was the best thing that I've done. I'm telling you, we're all doing it. Everybody in our agency's doing it. That is insane. 17 people I never even knew showed up, and every one of them were well-traveled, had money to travel, and were ready to go. I mean, at the drop of a hat, they're ready to go. And you can contact other meetup groups. Be careful how you do this. You don't want to come across as being all sales pitchy. But there are other meetup groups out there that, for instance, the yoga groups. There's kayak group. There's a meetup group for anything and everything, including networking groups for businesses that you should join. And guess what? It gets you in front of all of those people, all of these other businesses for referrals. So go ask for group referrals. Go ask for referrals in general from them. Go check out the meetups. It's insane. These things are taking off like gangbusters. But you can contact other ones and contact their organizer and say, I've had a lot of success with groups and group cruises, and here's what I can do for can I come talk to your group? What do you think about this? We can even put it out a year. Go talk to them. You can message them right there on meetups. Just sign up and go message. Talk to your local school. Definitely go to your schools about fundraisers or class trips. A lot of us we're under the assumption that they've already got a travel agent or something doing their class trips. You have no idea what they've got going or what you can offer them that they could have. A lot of them have got teachers that are doing it. Yeah, I mean, you don't assume anything. Go talk to them. If they'll just let you get your foot through the door, you can almost live off of that throughout the year. If it's a big enough school anyway. Go to the alumni association, same thing. Set up appointments with your local business owners. Talk to them about incentive and promotional cruises or cruise certificates. Visit the local radio station. They're doing it like crazy. I see it all the time. And promote, obviously, your existing agency groups. The best thing for my agency to do right now, if you're here for my agency, is I'll give you a list of all of them that I've got. And you're welcome to go in Carnival and go take a look at them, take a look at where it's going, the itinerary, pull that information directly off of there, slap it on say, I've got these cruises and here's the pricing. And you've got until December to pay your to pay your full deposit. $50 holds your spot. Okay. So that is what, if I didn't have a group that I could build myself already, that's what I would do. So by all means, please, if we don't book into them, we lose them. So promote what you've got, and if you get an individual, put them in one of them if you can. I'm sure going to look, a couple weeks here and a couple weeks there to see if I've got groups on either side, because I can get them a better deal. Okay, next week we're going to talk about lots of good stuff. We're going to get into it. I am going, for the sake of time tonight, guys, I wanted to try to keep this less than what it has been, and I want to talk to you if you have questions. But for the sake of time, I am doing a separate video that I will be putting up here in a few hours. Actually, it'll be up probably in the morning. That is going to show you step by step. I'm going to go through and show you exactly how to book into a group, especially a group that I've already got for my agents, for our agents in our agency. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it as a completely separate video. I'll let you know when it's up. Just go and check. You can check on my YouTube, or I'll actually just go ahead and put it up as a hangout. Probably I'll record it and put it up. So just know that I'm going to do that. So that'll go along with what we just talked about. Next, I keep saying next week because I'm used to that. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to get into this hot and heavy. I mean, we're going to do how to do one of these groups. Okay, we went out and found them. We're going to go through how to do this. We're going to go through showing you, some possibilities on some commissions. Of course, we need to talk about some money. We're going to show you how to get the best pricing, how to go look for dates. All of those things that I talked about, we're going to really delve into this on Wednesday. It's just impossible to do this in one setting. We'd be here for 3 hours, but we're going to really go into it, deep. And I probably will end up, for the sake of time, doing some extra videos on that as well, that are just basically just going through and showing you a little more in depth the actual booking process. But I am going to show you all of that by Wednesday. So you definitely want to be here for that. If you have any questions, start typing them, because we're going to do Q&A. Every week I say this. If you're here, don't know how you got here. We're out in internet land, like I always say, and you're like, I've always wanted to be a travel agent, or I hate my host agency. I've been there. I've been with 3. We have such an amazing agency that I can't not speak on it. So if you want to grow a travel business, you have a travel business and you're ready for a change, or you've always wanted to be an agent, by all means, let me just tell you, that we'd be happy to have you. So we've got, our company's a little different. Our agency's a little different. We've got an industry recognized certification program that does not cost tens of thousands of dollars like a lot of them do. It's basically, you get our training for free. It would complete ongoing training and support. We've got about 16 hours that you do to get your certification. That's included with your hosting fees, and it's basically given to you. And then we've got the ongoing training, and we've got everything from vendor related, strictly vendor to vendor trainings to what you see tonight. This is just an ongoing every week thing that we're doing. We've got state-of-the-art technology. The booking system that we're getting ready that they're working on now to unveil it's going to change things in travel, guys. It's just going to. Our back office is phenomenal. Our website is phenomenal. We've got some things that I've never had access to with another host agency. The hosting fees, I say this every week, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, they are embarrassing. They are so low. I've paid so much more and not got anything like with the training and everything that comes with this. So please don't, you need to take a look. If you know somebody from our company, please contact them. Don't contact me. If they happen to give you this for some reason, contact them if you're not already an agent, or if you're wanting to switch to our host agency. Or you can contact me via email, travelbytammywalker@gmail.com. And then I've also got a website, travelbytammywalker.com. But please don't contact me if you know somebody in our company. I would never want you to do that. Okay, guys. For those of you that don't even know why you're here and you're just checking this out, or you saw group cruises and you want to see what we look for and what we do as agents, that's fine. We don't care. We love to show you how much work we do. But we'd love for you to be a VIP client. When I say VIP client with our host agency, we are all on the same page. We don't have agents that don't agree with the concept of a VIP client. We don't care if you spend $5 or if you spend $10,000. You're a VIP client. We get you the lowest prices. You can go back and look at some of these trainings, and I think you would agree. I think anybody would agree that we work very, very hard. There's a lot that goes into one quote, a lot. It's not a simple process, not if you're not done right. A VIP service is, like I said, regardless of budgets, and you get access to client-only specials from our agency and from the individual agents. Right now, there's a 3-day, 2-night hotel stay that our owners are giving away just for registering as a VIP client. I don't know how long that's going to last. I think it's phenomenal. But you can contact, if you happen to know somebody in our agency, contact them and say, hey, where's my hotel stay? If you're not on their VIP list, I know they'd love for you to be, and they probably just accidentally overlooked it. So go get your hotel stay. They'll be happy to give it to you. If you don't know somebody, I would love to have you on my list. Just go to travelbytammywalker.com. You can go through. It'll just ask you for your email and your name. It gives it to me, and I can send you everything that you need for specials. You'll automatically be emailed your hotel stay. I will be able to speak here in a minute. And the only thing you pay on that is taxes, guys. That's it. And then again, there's my email address. Feel free to email me if you have a trip you want me to look up for you, to quote. If you have questions, anything, please feel free to email me. All right. So that was tonight, guys. I did that in an hour. I'm so proud of myself. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm not making promises. Am I back? I think I'm back. All right. Are there any questions? Any questions at all, guys? I know you guys will want me to get into the nitty gritty. It's going to be good on Wednesday. I want to show you. I'm going to show you one of my. I mean, there's a lot of things I do. I'm going to show you the Facebook group that I put together for my clients. Whenever I do, I put together a Facebook group for every group that I do. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do it for the promotional groups that we've got, but a group that I do of 8 or more. If it's a family reunion, anything, I put together a Facebook group. I'll show you guys that. It is all about creating excitement. You can't book a group and then not talk to those people until it's almost time for you to remind them about their payments. I mean, you just can't do it. They will fall off the face of the earth on you very quickly. They'll find 5,000 other things to spend that money on. So just, be real careful about that. Go get your first group. And Wednesday, I want to hear what everybody's got. I want to hear what you promoted. I honestly want to see you guys make some money, because just think about it. If you get 8, that's 8 commissions. If you get 1, that's 1 commission. I know which one I want. So let's go and promote some groups. If you want the list, if this is what you want to do and you really do want to work with cruise groups, if you want the list from our company not our company, for me, that I've got booked up, I'll be happy to send you that. I have a bunch, and they go all the way through next year. Not so much this summer, starting more in the fall. I may have one this summer. So just let me send those to you so you can be looking at them. Promote away. Just promote away. Hey, I've got, who wants to go? Look at this amazing rate. I've got one for the 4th of July that I'll be surprised if that doesn't book up. If you guys know about it, it'll probably book up. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not booked up in a month or less. I had a lot of people at my meetup that were very interested in it. And basically it goes to Key West and Cozumel. and you're in July 4th, you are in Key West. How much fun is that? So it's like a 4-day, just a lot of fun cruise. So anybody needs that list, just let me know. Just message me on Facebook. I'm speaking on obviously to our agents. So just message me on Facebook, and I will get that to you. Make sure you just say, hey, Tammy, I need the group list, and give me your email address, and I'll send it over to you. What else? That's it. So Wednesday at 9 o'clock, anybody in my agency can please, if you have questions, message me or email me so that I don't want to not answer your questions that you guys have. And I know there have been a lot of talk about groups. All right, guys, I will see you on Wednesday. Thanks for coming.